So today I wanted to talk about something that I'm pretty good at, I think, not to brag, but it's time management. Time management is hard. And it's hard for other people that live in my house. But I'm pretty good at it. The problem, if I'm ever late, it's not my fault. It's one of their fault. Usually Bert. He makes me late all the time, and it makes me crazy because I think when you're late for something, it's really rude. You have no respect for the other person's time. I hate that. But I mean, sometimes you're late and you can't help it, but if it's like systemic, then you're just rude. And I may have a systemic late person, but anyway, I wanted to talk to you guys about any time management things that you have in your life that help you. I have lots that help me. And you brought this up, I think, last time we podcasted together, that you were interested in talking about that. Did you?
Yes, I did. But I was interested in hearing from the masters. I wasn't interested in hearing myself talk about it because I feel like, I mean, I've got some good systems in place, but I feel like I'm always scrambling and there's never enough time. So I was planning on just listening to your podcast.
Too bad. That's what you get for having good ideas. What about you? How do you feel like you are at time management?
I don't know. I feel like it wanes, like it comes and goes sometimes. I feel like I have a lot of good systems in place, and then all of a sudden it is 100% derailed, and you're like, wait a minute, how did we get here?
Yeah.
I was so good for so long. And I think how I very often get derailed is by the other people in my household. That don't value time or don't see it in the same way, or all of a sudden they're like, I can't do this, you have to do it. So whatever system I had in place or whatever my schedule was for that day or whatever is all of a sudden just, I don't want to say not as important, but it gets pushed back.
Right.
And then I feel like I'm scrambling.
Right, because It's been reorganized.
Yes.
I understand what you mean. Yeah, I feel that way too. I mean,
me three.
I was sitting here thinking, Georgia is going to high school next year, which will require a commute for me to and from where we've signed her up for the bus, and there's a pack of kids in the neighborhood that are already going to their neighboring all boys high school that take public transportation. So I have like 3 avenues, but invariably I'll be driving her from time to time, if not all the time, depending on how it works. And I was just working out this morning thinking, how am I going to make all that work, and how are we going to make all this happen? It takes so much planning and forethought, doesn't it, to just kind of
make practice too.
It's a habit.
Yeah. And so when something changes, when there's any sort of big change, whether it's like a whole new commute or just somebody getting sick in the short term, and
totally,
it just derails everything. And then just the scrambling to make up for that lost time is what really challenges me. Because you have suddenly all of this stuff that, like, wait a minute, I was used to doing this at 9 a.m. and suddenly you're scrambling, and then it just seems to derail like a lot more time.
Right. It gets you in a panic. I sometimes get on like a freight train where I've like, I got to go this and then next and then here and then that and then this and then next and then here and then that. And then all of a sudden I'm like in this frenetic energy, and I don't like that. And I have a hard time grounding myself once I get on that kind of train. And you know, that's one thing I haven't really found a trick for, is how to stop that train once I've gotten on the train. Bert complains about that about me all the time. Sometimes I get on a train and then I don't, quote, have time for him, which I understand from his perspective. He's only here 2 days a week. And if I'm on that train on one of the 2 days he's here, he feels like he doesn't have me the whole day. And even though, you know, my perspective is, are you fucking kidding me? You got to get on the train with me. Come on. You know, that's not really how he works. So
that has to be hard, shifting from like one way of being to another for you.
It's massively hard. It's really, really hard. It takes, I never really thought I was a patient person. But
you're a very patient person.
I am an extremely patient person. As I have gotten more mature, I have realized that I'm actually abnormally patient. And sometimes that's not healthy for me. And I was talking about somebody yesterday. I was like, so-and-so called me with this problem, and then so-and-so called me with this problem, and then so-and-so called me with this problem. And she said, it's because you're so patient. You're the only person who will patiently listen to any problem anybody has. And I'm like, well, that's a fucking curse. I need to cut that out right now, because I just, like, an hour and a half of my day is evaporated from listening to other people, which I would, of course, want to do. But when I'm on that train, I'm like, come on, get to the point. I gotta go. But yeah, it is really hard to shift gears. When Bert gets home, all my, like, systems get displaced somehow, either by his needs or our needs within the context of him being home, because, like, our weekends are Monday, Tuesday, you know, where everybody else has Saturday, Sunday with Dad. Well, we have Monday, Tuesday. So then it's hard to go be super rigid about practicing piano or
totally, or homework even.
Homework, you know, because you're like, well, you're too nice to see Dad. But what happens is that kind of bleeds into Wednesday, Thursday, and it's really hard for me to get them back on the path of, now we're back to practicing. Now we got to do homework. Now we got to do chores, you know, like we were supposed to do on Monday, Tuesday. And Dad isn't good at, hey, let's do homework. That's not what he's going to do. He's going to need to go in and go, hey, let's go to Dave & Buster's. And I've lost him, you know, entirely. And I should lose him in a certain way, because what am I going to say? Just be all work and no play is not right either.
Yeah.
That is really hard to shift gears. My house, when Bert's here, is much more chaotic, and I'm a very organized person. So the chaos makes me feel unrest, you know? I'm just not at peace. It doesn't even make me necessarily more busy. I just feel not peaceful. Do you know what I mean? So all that chaos.
Well, it's not being in control.
That's true.
That's a huge part of time management, I think. Like, you're controlling everything. You have every single thing scheduled.
Very true.
And that's completely not scheduled.
I never thought of it like that. Well, I never thought of it like that. I don't like to think of myself as a control person, but that is definitely what that is. So maybe if I have the perspective of just let the control go for these 2 days, I'll feel better about it. Because really it is how you perceive and how you feel about things, right?
Yes, right.
I know I've gotten better as the years have gone by, and the girls have gotten older, because when they're younger, a schedule's really imperative. And I would really push back from him for the essential parts of their schedule, you know, be like, no, we're actually not staying up till 10:30. She's 4. Sorry. She's going to bed at 7, and I'm sorry. That's just the way it's going to work. But now, obviously, they can stay up till 10 and be okay the next day, and recover, you know. So I don't know. I never thought about it like control, but I guess it is control. It's self-control. You know, being able to self-regulate, which I think not a lot of adults are good at. I don't know. Or healthy at, maybe.
I have problems being flexible. Like, the schedule is great. We have the systems in place. But with things like the kids staying up late and being flexible to, oh, it's just this one time or whatever. Because I'm looking ahead a couple days and going, no, but that's going to make Thursday fucking brutal.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to be miserable. Nobody's going to want to do their homework and blah, blah, blah. I can't help looking ahead. And then I just feel like such a killjoy. And it makes me feel bad about myself that I'm like, well, wait a minute. I should feel good about myself because I'm looking ahead. I'm planning for everybody's well-being. And instead I feel bad about myself because I think, oh, you're so inflexible. You're just not fun. Like, let them have their fun. So it just brings up that battle in my head about which is more important. I don't know.
I feel that way too. I feel like the perpetual party pooper. I'm the one. I say it all the time. I am the only bad guy that lives in this house.
But you're the wife of the party.
Yeah, well, the wife doesn't get to be the life of the party ever, unless the life of the party's on the road. And
see, that's funny. I actually, this is going to sound horrible, but I don't feel bad about myself. I get angry that no one else can see my perspective. No one else can see.
Well, I feel
Thursday
that too.
is going to be.
Me too. Yeah.
shitty and I'm going to be the one to deal with it. So why can't someone else be the bad guy?
Yes.
Why can't someone else be like, you know what? It really is bedtime.
Oh, I agree. I feel that too, but I also internalize it and feel like, why can't you be a little bit more flexible?
You do both. You get angry.
I don't think about you as a killjoy. I think about you as being flexible, and I think about both of you that way, being flexible and magnanimous about it.
I don't know what that word means. What does magnanimous mean? What does that mean?
Like, just pleasant, Like,
oh, okay.
And giving,
like
almost.
Giving, yeah, like
okay.
benevolent.
I like that word, magnanimous. Oh, look, word for the day, magnanimous. I'd heard it before, clearly, but I'd never. Thank you for defining.
Maybe I'm using it wrong. Who am I?
No, Alexa. What does magnanimous mean? She's slow.
We are stumping Alexa.
Magnanimous is usually defined as noble and generous in spirit.
Oh, I like that. I am very noble and I am very generous in spirit. See, life of the party. What I come up against with some of this is that I married an extrovert to the extreme, as did you.
Yep.
And sometimes the extrovert needs the social in a need capacity, not a, hey, it would be really fun to go hang out with friends. No. And like, I need to reset my buttons. This is how I get grounded. This is how I recover from a hard week. Whereas I am an introvert, and what I need is a bath and a closed fucking door. And don't talk to me and don't look at me. But the give and take of that is sometimes I have to let go of that thing we're talking about but Thursday's going to suck for the betterment of my husband.
Yeah, because to let him charge his batteries, you have to drain yours. And it's...
Well, not necessarily drain mine, but to say to choose his now. Right. Whereas I get to choose mine when he leaves. Does that make sense? When he leaves, I have plenty of alone time. Now, when he's here for like 14 days straight, I'm like climbing the walls because I need some alone time, and I don't get it when he's here very much. And I enjoy spending time. I don't want anybody to think I don't enjoy his company. I do.
Of course.
But when he's home all day, every day. And I think for any married couple, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So at a certain point, I need to go, time out. I'm going to go read a book for like 20 minutes. I'll be back. But I think that's part of the choice too, is to recognize our extreme differences in how we recharge our batteries. And not everybody has extreme differences in who they are and when they're married. I don't think. Some people are probably similar, but he and I are very opposite in that. And once we figured that out, it made it easier for me to be more flexible, because then I went, okay, I'm demanding that he be an introvert, basically. And I can't really demand that of him. That's not fair. So, and I'm actually a really social introvert, so I don't mind the social, but I just don't need it as much as he does or in the same way. So, I don't know. This was supposed to be about time management. Are we talking about time management?
Yeah.
I think we are.
It's all an offshoot.
I think we are. Yeah. Do you guys have a shared calendar? Like with your kids or your family?
I don't with my kids, with my husband.
Yeah.
Well, no, actually, I take that back. We did have a shared calendar. And then yesterday he informed me, he's like, yeah, I don't ever look at it. If you want me to know about something, you have to invite me. I was like, what?
That's
so
funny.
I just, yesterday, 17 invitations.
Oh my God.
I was like, he's like, when is Max's play rehearsal? When is Lily's volleyball game? I was like, it's on the calendar. He's like, but I need it on my work calendar, and I don't need every home thing on my work calendar. If you want me to know about something, you have to invite me, and then I'll be there. I will know about it. It's in my brain, whatever. But
that seems like a lot of work for you.
When the dog gets groomed, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't need to know that. That's not in my brain. That's not. I was like, I don't know.
But see,
it's definitely a shift, because I just throw everything on our calendar.
Yeah.
But if that's not working for him, I've got to start doing this. And then I've got to pick and choose what I think is important enough for him to have on his work calendar.
I have a suggestion.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Because this is how I have it. Everybody in my house has a calendar. Mm-hmm. Bert, me, Georgia, Isla, the dogs. I have a family calendar. have a wife of the party calendar. I have Bert's personal calendar, which is different from his work calendar. I think that's it. So I have 8 calendars. They have 8 different colors, right? So Bert doesn't subscribe or he's not on my kids' calendars, right? He has his work calendar, my work calendar, and our family calendar. But he's not on mine, so he doesn't know when I'm going to the doctor. So everything I need him to know about goes in the family.
Right.
Everything I don't need him to know about goes, like if the kids have an orthodontist appointment, which he doesn't need to know, it goes on that individual kid's calendar.
Right.
So he's subscribed to family. So if we're going on vacation, it's in the family calendar. If we are going out to dinner with the Fromkins, then it's on the family calendar. So we're all on the family calendar, the whole family. And then I kind of delineate the rest of them. I have everybody's calendar. So when something happens, I put it in the right place so that whoever needs to read it can read it. And then all that is that one drop-down menu in your iCloud to put it in family or wherever it goes.
That's how we had it set up. And that's how I still have it set up. I think the problem is at work, he doesn't use iCloud. They use Google Calendar. So the platforms don't mesh. Therein lies our new problem.
So then you need to shift to Google Calendar for your whole family. Right?
I mean, I guess I could do that. Yes.
Right.
But I've been using iCal for so long. It's just such a habit. I mean, Google Calendar is probably not much different, I would imagine.
I don't know anything about Google Calendar.
I don't know anything about it either. But
well, yeah, I mean, the key to time management is streamlining everything, right?
Yes.
Is trimming the fat off everything you possibly can and getting it to the least amount of work. One of my first office jobs, I've had so many freaking jobs, but one of my first jobs in New York, I worked for this guy who I was his personal assistant. And the first thing he said to me is, here is my rule. You touch a piece of paper one time. If you open mail, you do something with that piece of mail. It goes in the file to be paid as bills. It goes in a file if it needs to be filed. It's shredded if it's garbage. If you need a correspondence to go along with it, you put that in another specific place that says, to be dealt with. And then you sit down and you deal with those piles all at one time. And then you take whatever, if you've paid that bill, it is completed and filed, and that's the only time you touch that piece of paper. And I was like, that's an amazing kind of streamlined way of thinking about everything. When you take your shoes off, you just put them in the cabinet. You've touched them one time. You don't take them off and throw them in the floor, and then you got to go pick them up and go put them in the cabinet. So I try to think of everything like, how can I touch that one time? And that family calendar does that for me, for Bert, because Bert... He doesn't want to know when they're going to the dentist either.
Right.
He doesn't need to know they have a Girl Scout meeting.
Right.
He doesn't care. But he does need to know, hey, Georgia has a choir show tonight and you're going. And that's in that family calendar. But that would be impossible if you had iCloud and he's on Google.
Right.
This is also interesting because we don't share a calendar. It's never occurred to me to share a calendar.
Oh, really?
With Richard.
You're clearly not as busy as we are.
Or your husband is much more laid back.
Right?
I don't know. We just have conversations about the things that are the need to know things. And I don't know. And I guess he puts them in his calendar because he's very on top of things. But it's never really occurred to me to share a calendar with them.
That's lucky. And you don't share calendars with your kids? They don't?
No, well, they don't have calendars going. I mean, I just have their stuff on my calendar. I just keep it all in the same one. But
Georgia runs her own calendar.
My kids. But I don't know, if they would ever use it.
Georgia does.
Does she organize schoolwork on it?
Not really schoolwork, but like Tracy's birthday party is on this day, and she'll put it on the calendar because they talk about it at school.
Right.
And then she'll forget to tell me, and I said, just put it on the calendar. So at break, she'll just put it on her calendar, and then it pops up on my calendar, and I go, oh, okay, well, that's Tracy's birthday party. So then I can have a conversation with her about it. Okay, it's Tracy's birthday party, which reminds me.
That's so funny. We actually had that very incident.
Did you really?
Max was like, hey, there's a party tonight. I was like, I'm sorry, when? He's like, yeah, I forgot to tell you about it. I got an Evite, and I was like, wait, what do you mean? Like, first of all, it was really shocking that he got the Evite and not me.
Yeah.
As a parent. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not ready for this.
Right?
But yeah, that whole thing. He knew about it for like days before he actually remembered to tell me about it.
Right.
So That would be really smart.
And if you got an Evite, all he had to do is add the calendar.
Add the calendar
on
I
the
know.
Evite, and it would be on there automatically.
Mm-hmm. He's terrible at communication to begin with.
Well,
which is what we're working on. He is
13, almost 14. He is. I mean, that's the age. But
yes, but that's actually really smart. Maybe this is the time to start having them have their own individual calendars.
Well, I mean, Isla reads her calendar. She doesn't add anything to it, and she'll be like, "Dennis, today? Are you serious?" Because she read it on the calendar.
Right.
But I'm like, well, hey, at least she gets used to kind of looking at the calendar, because that's a good way to run your days, is to say, well, what's going on today or what's going on this week, so you can track it, keep up with it, because that girl is not going to be great at time management. She's not going to be good at at organizing anything. That's just kind of innate. Georgia's always really super organized. So
it's so interesting. I guess it depends on the way your brain works too, because like I actually prefer a hard copy calendar, like a paper calendar, but I like to have my iCalendar going too. So I have both things going. Camille, you tell her a date, it's in her brain forever, and she'll talk about like, well, why am I having that doctor's appointment on June 19th, or whatever the random thing is, and I'm like, oh my God, it's April. I wasn't thinking ahead to that. So she does. It never occurred to me to teach her how to use a calendar, because she's got a calendar in her brain and it's working fine, and she'll give me a heads up about things. Well, that Nina's party is in 2 weeks, and oh, okay, thanks. Thanks for the reminder. We actually did for one of the badges or journeys that we did with the younger girls and Girl Scouts, we got them hard copy calendars, and we're teaching them how to use a calendar and write things in. So for a while, Vivian was using hers and writing things in, and then that fell by the wayside.
Well, they use those agendas at school, which is a calendar.
That's true,
essentially. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Isla uses that religiously. Georgia doesn't use hers. Georgia's, I think, keeps hers in her brain. Yeah. But yeah, I guess
they're just all different. But adults are too, like the way we use calendars, or the way Stephen uses.
I prefer a hard copy calendar too, but I just can't keep up with it. Yeah, I'm constantly going, "Where's my calendar? Where's my calendar?" Yeah. So it just became more work to do what I prefer. Because if I write something down, I remember it forever.
Yes. Remember it,
But typing it, I don't remember it. But if I've written it, I remember it for whatever reason. But I couldn't do it. I kept trying to. It's just too hard. I couldn't keep up with the calendar.
I think that's part of the exercise for me, though, is that I do rely on my iCalendar, but I write it down, but that's what puts it in my brain. So I'm not necessarily referencing that hard copy calendar as much as it is for the exercise of remembering it.
Interesting. Interesting. Very interesting. So in home ec, my Miss Edmondson, who was 180 when she taught me home ec, at least, said this to me every day: a place for everything and everything in its place. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Did you get that in home ec?
No, I don't think I got it in home ec, but definitely growing up I got that.
Wasn't the home ec motto, the U.S. home ec motto, a place for everything, everything in its place? Do you guys have that at home? Do you have like a place for everything? No?
That's not what you ask in my house. Like, it's very funny because I feel like, yes, we do. There is a place for everything in our house. And it's not that hard if you just put things back.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as touch it once.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand my children. My husband will take something and I don't know, like if the pillow is supposed to go on the couch, they put it on the table. And I'm like, but you're centimeters away from its proper place. Why wouldn't you just put it away?
I have the same
Why
people.
would you wait? Well, I'm going to get it later. But why? Why would you do that? You're literally there. I don't understand.
Right.
And they don't understand where I'm coming from. They think I'm insane that I
Same
request
people.
them to do this.
Yeah, I have the
I'm like,
same
our
people.
house would be so much neater. It would be like everything, it has a place.
Yeah.
You know where the place is. Why don't you just put it back? I'll do it later.
I know everything's about do it later.
And later means I'm going to end up doing it because it annoys the crap out of me that I'm stepping on whatever it is not put away.
But that's bad.
It's totally bad.
Yeah, you have to make them do it. And I'm the same as you, where I'll just do it. And it's really bad.
No, it's terrible.
Because then
like the argument, come back and get your backpack. Come back and get your backpack. My daughter leaves her backpack in between like the table and the walkway to the kitchen. I'm like, seriously? I'm making dinner.
Yeah.
We got home at 6:00. Like my hair's on fire as it is. Like I've got to get food on the table so you stop having a meltdown every single day.
And she probably has a place for that backpack, doesn't she?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes me nuts.
It makes me insane. I don't get it.
And the waste of time to put it down and then have to go back and pick it up makes me nuts. It's not just that, because Georgia, believe it or not, leaves her backpack between our kitchen island and the dishwasher. Yeah. So you can't walk, you have to step over it. You can't walk around it. Yep. There's not enough room every day. And she has a hook by the door. I'm like, walk in the door and put it on the hook. Like you can just get inside the door.
Like
there's a hook.
The hook to get it to where it's not supposed to be.
Yes. Put it on there and then you don't ever have to think about it again. Yeah. Why are you so annoyed with me asking you to go move it out of the middle of the floor when if you just put it on the hook, I'd shut up. I'd never talk about it again if you just put it on the hook. Same with our lunch boxes. I'm like, you guys have to unload your lunch boxes into the dishwasher. Is that a clear statement? Did you understand that statement?
Absolutely. Crystal.
It ends up next to the sink. And then the amount of time it takes for me to get them to come back, and they don't put it in the dishwasher, they put it in the sink. And I go, I was so clear. Unload your lunchbox into the dishwasher.
This is a recurrent theme for us too.
I hate it.
It's crazy.
But the wasted time.
Yes.
And the wasted energy.
Yes.
And the angst and the annoyance.
Yes.
Like, we would be so much happier if we didn't have to fight about this stuff.
But why don't they just do it?
Call you 10 times to come back and pick up something that you could never have left there in the first place, or picked up one of the first 4 times I asked you.
Right?
Like, it would be so much better. I'd be so much happier. You'd be happier. I don't get it.
The house would be clean. Mm-hmm. Stupid.
These darn kids
Maybe
messing with our
stupid.
schedules.
They're just
messing
stupid.
with our organization.
How dare
It's all
they
their fault.
accuse me of being rigid. Right? So back in the day, I used to do this thing that was really helpful, and I stopped doing it. I don't know if I'm less busy. I don't feel like I'm less busy, but I'm less in need of this system. But this system was really helpful for me. And the people I've told about it who've done it have said it was really helpful for him. So I thought I would share. I obviously work from home and am a stay-at-home mom. So I would compartmentalize my week, and each day had an assignment. Like Mondays were always my errand day. I did all my errands, got my house in order for the week, like cleaned the house, did everything I needed to do on Monday. Tuesday, I worked for Bert. That was my day where I sat down and focused and did everything I needed to do for Bert. Wednesday, let me remember what Wednesday was. Wednesday, I worked on, I paid our bills and did all of our financial stuff and did any volunteer work I'd signed up for at school or Girl Scouts or whatever I needed to work on for volunteerism. Thursday was my appointment day. So if I needed to get my hair cut, if I needed to take the dog to the groomer, if I needed a dentist appointment, I always just made sure I scheduled it on a Thursday, if possible. Obviously, if I could only get a Tuesday, I'd switch Tuesday for Thursday, but I kept those days compartmentalized. And then I left Friday for like my catch-all day. So what did I not finish over the week for any of those 4 days that I could finish up on Friday before the weekend when my kids took over my weekend, which made it easier because then I had everything finished. So even though I worked from home, and it sounds like I only worked 1 day a week for Bert, obviously I had to answer emails. Obviously I had to do things throughout the week. Same with the other things too. You obviously have a little bit of stuff here and there. But the focus of the day, like I woke up and went, today is the day I'm going to Costco and Trader Joe's and Ralph's. I'm planning my menus for the week. I'm setting up everything. This is the day I'm going to make all the phone calls to make all the appointments for everything that needs to happen for my kids and myself and my husband. And it worked really, really well. I don't know why I've stopped doing it like this, and I'm still getting stuff done, but I remember it being very kind of like not a freight train, where I just went, okay, I can't do that on Monday because Monday's the day I get everything set up. I can do that on Thursday, What do you think about that?
I think it sounds extremely appealing, and I have tried to do that before and did not find that it worked for our family.
Right.
And I know it's like your schedule and my schedule, but it didn't work for our family, mostly because my kids have historically had a lot of appointments. We have a lot of medical stuff, and specialists have really crazy schedules. And I just felt like my schedule was always being messed with because the endocrinologist only works on Wednesdays, and Wednesday was my day to do whatever else, or the whatever, like all of this. And so I abandoned that. But it's very, very appealing to me because I think it takes the anxiety out of if it's Thursday and Thursday's your day to do whatever. Right. But it's not one of the other things you're like, well, I'll get to it on Monday because Monday's the day for that. Or, it's not errand day. So
that is exactly what it did. It did relieve. Yeah. It did relieve a lot of stress, but because of that exact reason, because I knew when I would get it done.
Yeah. But also for your family, if they're like, can you pick this up at Target? Right. Well, you know that errand day is whatever, Monday. Monday is errand day. So yeah, it'll happen on Monday.
I seem to have a lot more time to get stuff done too. So maybe I'll go back to that schedule. I don't know why I got derailed from it, but maybe I'll go back and see.
It was those darn kids.
Those damn kids.
Those darn kids.
No, but I did it this way for years, for like 2 or 3 years in the beginning when we were first at. That's how I ran everything. And I'm not sure what shifted to make me stop doing it like this. I think it may have been that my job at Burt Inc. got a lot more intense and became a lot more kind of invasive, and that I wasn't able to keep it like this because excuse me, I started having to go to meetings with Burt, and those meetings they're completely out of my control. So maybe that was it.
I feel like it's almost like when you start going to the gym and you're so great at the beginning of the year and you go to the gym every day, and then it takes like one cold and like it's all blown to hell, and you're like your schedule's gone, and it takes very little to derail something, but a lot to actually get it set up and to make it habit or to make it ingrained in you.
Right. I think you're right.
I feel like that happens frequently.
It does happen. It's hard to get it to pick it back up.
Yeah.
Once you've been derailed. I think you're right.
But so easy to get derailed.
It's so easy. A cold. You're right. Just a simple cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everything's off.
And it throws everything off. And to get back to it, why is that?
I don't know. Why is that? Because clearly you're more productive when you are in whatever system you have set up.
You know it and you feel it.
Yeah.
You feel more productive.
Yeah. Is it because you're playing catch up from being down? I mean, it's the same when you go out of town. I feel like I go out of town and the first 2 days we're back in town are just a blur, with laundry and stuff that you have to catch up on. I got to water the plants, all the plants. I got to do, all this stuff that like dribbles throughout the week. Yes. You have to do in an intense, and it takes time to get back. I don't know why it's so hard to get back on track.
It's always easier to maintain, whether it's like weight or schedules or whatever the thing is. It's easier to keep doing the thing that you're doing every day because you have momentum on your side, and you don't have to, like with weight, for example, if you don't have any weight to lose, you just keep doing what you're doing because it's working.
Right.
But if you have to make up like, oh my God, I got to exercise more and watch my diet more or whatever, it's just more work. So it's just like going away on vacation. Suddenly you have more work because there's all this laundry to do, but you still have the regular day-to-day. You still have your system, but then how can I run out and run errands when all this other stuff needs to happen?
Right. I know my dad's coming to visit for 10 days, and I love when my dad comes because I get all this stuff done that I just dread. But for whatever reason, when he and I do stuff together, where we tackle and just plow through all these things that I don't want to do, because I usually don't want to do them by myself, and I'm doing them by myself, and I get angry and resentful sometimes that I have to do this by myself because it really is something that I shouldn't be doing by myself. And so when he gets here, we get all this stuff done, but at the expense of 10 days of regular stuff. And when he leaves, I'm always so flustered because I have all this catch-up work to do. every time he comes. So I don't know. Anyway, anybody read the book 4 Hour Workweek?
Yes.
You did?
It's on my list.
A
I
long
haven't
time
read
ago,
it yet, though.
I reread part of it recently, and there were a few things in there that he said about time management that I thought were really cool, that I, again, ebb and flow out of doing. I don't know if you remember this. One of the things was to check your emails at a set time during the day, and to set aside like half an hour to check and reply and handle whatever you possibly can in that email, and then not check it again until, he says, till the next day, but I can't do that. So what I try to do is check my emails around 8 in the morning, and then check them again around lunch, and then check them again right before I start cooking dinner. And that way, and give myself a good 15 minutes to really sit down and read them and respond to them, or flag them and say, this is something I need to spend time on, and really deal with them, and then not look at them again. That is so freeing, because then I go, I've handled it. I'm not handling it again until noon, so I'm not even going to look at it. If you need me, you will call me or text me if something urgent is happening. That has been really liberating. Have either of you ever tried anything like that?
Mm-mm.
No?
No.
I did for a short while, and I don't know why I stopped. I don't know. It didn't become a habit for sure, but yeah, it definitely would be worth exploring again.
I do that most days. There are some days where I'm just constantly on for whatever reason, but most days that's what I do, is I check it those 3 times in the day, and then if I'm not doing anything, which almost never happens, but if I'm like, oh well, let me check my email, then I'll do that. But usually on busy days, which are most days, that's what I do, and it seems to keep my brain a little more clear, to compartmentalize the time that I'm dealing with emails. He said another thing in that book. I wrote it down. Oh, I think this was from his book. He said when you're doing emails, to completely open the ones that you want to deal with, just briefly go through and open all of them that need an action, and then go through them, and when you have completed that action, you close that email.
Yeah.
So then if I can't get to it now, right, I can get to it at noon when I come back to check my emails. It's still open.
Well,
so you won't forget it.
Yeah, that's a visual cue.
Exactly. So you don't forget it, because inevitably I'll forget it, and it moves farther and farther and farther down the email list, and then I've totally forgotten
it's been opened already, and you don't.
And you don't see it again unless you flag it, and then if you flag it, you don't really see. You have to look for it.
Yeah.
But I believe it was from him. It may not have been from him.
That's a good tip.
To open it and leave it open until you've dealt with it. Or you've filed it or flagged it, or some way that you can deal with it. I do that a lot with printing things out too. I'm sorry for the waste of paper, but if there's something I know I need to deal with, I'll print it out and leave it on my desk, even if it's an email, because then I have it, and they just get lost in as
it happens so fast. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
we get so many emails.
30 or 40 in the course of a few hours, and half of them are junk, but. It's overwhelming.
Right, but you still have to weed through them.
Yeah.
I just delete.
Me too, but you're still going through the action of deleting those 15 emails that you really don't ever want.
Right.
But it's still just more time suck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Compartmentalizing it is less of a time suck, I think, even though you have to consciously say this time of day. Well, I always do it. This is what I usually do. Is I drop Isla off and I park. When I park my car, I don't get out of my car. I sit in my car and I read my emails, and then on my phone, and I answer all my emails on my phone before I come in the house, because once I come in the house, I'm in 80 different directions. So as soon as I park my car, that's my 8 a.m. And then when I'm making lunch, I usually eat lunch, and I stay sitting where I am and go through my emails as soon as I'm done eating lunch. And then I usually do the dinner time as soon as I'm finished helping Isla with homework. So I'll finish her homework, and then I'll go through all my emails, and then I go make dinner. And then sometimes I check it at night after, if I want to. But I don't feel like I have to, because I've already kind of done it at the end of the workday. By then it's 5:30, 6 o'clock. Anyway, that was my email suggestion. Do you have any life hacks?
I have a whole bunch that I got from Gretchen Rubin.
What are they?
Yeah.
I listened to the Happier podcast, and I've read all of Gretchen Rubin's books. I particularly like Better Than Before for habits. So I made a little list.
Maybe we should read that book for our next book club for the podcast. Better Than Before.
Sure, I'll read it again.
Would that be a good book for a book club discussion?
Probably. I read it a while ago, and I keep up with her on a weekly basis on the podcast, so I don't even remember what was specifically in that book. I just remember that it was up my alley.
All right, so Better Than Before. Let's do that.
Okay,
Better Than Before.
So one thing that I got from her is Power Hour. She recommends for those things that are just looming but you just never get around to doing, whether it's something as simple as replacing a light bulb or like a larger task. If it's anything that doesn't have an end date, like she uses the example of booking tickets. Well, you have to book your tickets to travel by a certain date. So that's not a Power Hour thing. Like, cause there is an end in sight. You're either that date's going to come and go and you're going to miss the trip or not. But for the things that could happen anytime, like for example, a light bulb that's like, we still have light in that room. It's, you just never get around to it. To book a Power Hour once a week and literally have it in your calendar where it's like at noon on Fridays from noon to 1, I power through all those little things, that sewing a badge on a Girl Scout vest or whatever the things that could happen anytime and therefore happen never.
I love that.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And then also occasionally booking a power day where you're like, you know what? Screw the Power Hour. On Friday, the 17th, I am going to just power through everything. I'm going to schedule it all in and do all those stupid things like I'll book a doctor's appointment that could happen anytime, and that, the physical that could happen anytime and therefore happens never. That's been helpful to me.
That's
when
awesome.
I do it. I don't book it every week. I don't
even if you do it every other week.
Yeah.
It's so good when you finally do that. My
so
list
satisfying.
was so long that earlier this week I was like, I gotta get shit done, and I was just hair on fire. I was like, boom, 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 and I was like, it was like nothing. It was so easy to like get all of that stuff done, but.
Well, because you find that a lot of that stuff that's looming, you think it takes on like a greater time in your mind. And all of a sudden you do it and you're like, oh my God, that took 5 minutes.
Right.
Why have I been waiting for months to do this thing?
It's so true.
That's really helped me. She also talks about, and this is like similar to the everything in its place, but the 1 minute rule, where it's like, if you see anything that will take a minute or less, just do it. Like, don't let it take up the space in your brain to walk by and go, oh, that pouch should be in my room. Just do it. Like, just do the thing. And it's not just putting things away, but just whatever thing is, just do it.
Like filling the dog bowl. Or,
exactly. Because it'll just clutter space in your mind, and you'll have this nagging feeling that you haven't completed things. Just do the 1 minute rule. And 9 times out of 10, it doesn't even take a minute to do the thing. It'll take 20 seconds, like to empty the trash can from the bathroom or whatever, that it's like, oh, okay, that literally took 20 seconds out of my life.
That's awesome. Okay, I like that too. Keep them coming.
Okay, what else? Also, this is from her, but also I had a talk with my friend Eileen the other day, and it just crystallized this in my mind, but to know yourself and to let go of the expectations that you just aren't going to do. So for example, I know that I'm most productive in the mornings. Everybody has the most productive time. And I've been hard on myself for years, thinking like when I'm just sort of dragging in the afternoon and things are just moving slowly and my errands are going slowly, everything's moving slowly. And she's like, it's not that you don't. And I kind of felt lazy about like, I work part-time. I'm a stay-at-home mom. Like, I just felt like, well, I should be achieving more, like these people who are working full time and doing all these things. My friend Eileen said to me, no, people who are working full time have those lagging hours where they're checking Facebook or they're, just checking emails or just sort of dragging or needing a snack or whatever, making their phone calls. Everybody has that lag time in your day. And so to just know yourself and accept yourself for what those hours are. And so when I'm lagging in the afternoon, to then not beat myself up about it, then just go, well, that's fine. These are just my down hours. And not that I don't accomplish anything or don't expect myself to accomplish anything, but just to not be so hard on myself that I'm not like go the way that I am all morning.
Right. That you move at a different pace in the afternoon.
Yeah.
It's not better or worse. It's just different.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
And what else? What have I got here? I don't know. Oh, one thing that's really helped me that I've just come up with this past year is to lower my expectations on the things that I want to do every day. Like, so for habit formation, instead of going, you know what, I'm going to run for an hour every day and that's going to be my thing or whatever. When realistically, sometimes you get sick, sometimes, your kid gets sick, sometimes someone comes in from out of town, whatever. There's a million reasons why you cannot devote an hour to me time every day So, for example, meditation. It's important to me that I meditate every day. But I have lowered it way down, the expectation, where it's literally, if I meditate for 1 minute, I'm achieving that goal.
Right.
Because all it is keeping me in the habit at that time. So even though it's 1 minute and you could go like, what are you accomplishing in 1 minute? What I'm accomplishing is keeping that habit going. Right. So most of the time I'll meditate for more than that amount of time, but there are some days that are just so jam-packed and it's just not going to happen otherwise. So I will literally just set a timer for 1 minute. And I'm like, you know what? Everybody can find 1 minute of the day to do something, whatever the thing is. Yeah. Some things take more than 1 minute, but that's a good example of something that it only takes 1 minute. So there are some days that I literally set a timer for 1 minute and meditate. I do Duolingo. It's where you can learn a language online. And when I first set it up, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this for, a half hour a day. And this is going to be my thing or whatever. I don't realistically have a half hour every day to devote to me learning a language that I may never use.
What language are you learning?
Norwegian.
That's not at all random. Why Norwegian?
Right? I'm a quarter Norwegian, and I've always wanted to go to the Scandinavian countries. That's a place in the world that I've never traveled. And so I thought, oh, well, that would be a way to put a bug in my ear to sort of have a reason to travel there someday. Right. My grandmother was Norwegian, and I speak a couple of languages, and it's one that I'm not even I wasn't remotely familiar with. And I have a streak going now of like 224 days straight that I haven't missed a day.
That's amazing.
Awesome. And before that, I only missed 1 day and I had a 25-day streak. And before that, I had 30, whatever. So I'm trying to get going and go like, I can do this literally every day because the lessons are only 5 minutes long. So a lot of days, that's literally only 5 minutes a day. So I can give 5 minutes a day to myself to do that thing. Right. So it's not like radical self-care where you're like, oh, well, look at her. She's spending hours on her Norwegian and meditating and exercising and all these things. It's literally like, so that's 6 minutes of my day, 5 minutes for my language and 1 minute to meditate. Right. And like, oh, okay, I can give myself 6 minutes a day. I can make that happen.
Right. That thing I talked about a long time ago, that paradigm shift that was important for me, the 888.
Yes.
That would work really well with that. 8 hours of work, 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours for whatever I want. Yeah. That 5-6 minutes, that's really great. I like that you're doing that. That's cool.
Yeah, it helped. It definitely helped me shift. And the same thing with running. Like, that I love to run. I was injured for a long time and wasn't able to do it. And so even though mentally I can run those long distances still, I know that physically I need to build a base back up. And in 7th grade, they actually test them on the mile. And I have a 7th grader. And it occurred to me, oh, why don't we just start running a mile together? And so we actually have a streak going in April. We missed 2 days, one due to illness and one actually due to the wind, because I knew it wasn't going to be good for me on that super crazy windy day when trees are falling down. I was like, that's not going to be good for my asthma.
And maybe hazardous.
Yes.
A tree may fall on me while I'm running.
Exactly. But otherwise, we've been running a mile a day, which when you think about it, it's like, it's nothing. Like, it takes 10 to 15 minutes out of your life, depending on how slow, how much walking you do and whatever. But even if you're really slow, a mile is not a lot of time.
No, it's not right.
So I love to bite off huge chunks and go, I'm going to write a novel in a month. I'm going to do this or whatever. And I've done these things before, and I love huge goals, but I realized doing the opposite thing is a really good way to start a habit and to keep it going and to just expect less of myself and
build on that. Yeah. Instead of, I think I definitely have that as well, where I set a big goal and I try to eat the elephant in one bite, and you just really can't do that. So that's a really great way.
But you can't do it. You can't do it with kids.
It's really stressful to try and eat the elephant in one bite,
especially when you have these darn kids who are messing with your schedule.
Stupid kids.
It's also not. I mean, super realistic. That delayed gratification. I think it goes to that. Like, you want it now. You want to write the novel now. Yeah. You don't want to write it in 6 months or a year or 2 years or whatever. You know what I mean? You don't want to spend 5 minutes a day learning a language. You want to know it now.
Yeah.
And that's not generally how life works to begin with.
Yeah.
So to have more realistic expectations with life, it's a much better strategy.
And it makes you have some patience too, because to have 5 minutes a day when you really want 40 minutes a day, you have to be really patient with yourself.
It teaches you perseverance. Mm-hmm. Like, if you want to accomplish learning a language or writing a novel or whatever, like, it's going to take time and energy and effort, and it doesn't happen quickly.
No.
I think our kids need to learn that.
Maybe.
I mean,
maybe. So what else is on your
you're
list?
Being a great model is what I mean, really. Seriously, like, your kids are watching.
They are watching, and they do comment on. Camille will say, "How long's your streak now, Mom?"
Yeah, and she's cool.
And so I've been planting the seed of streaks in general. I would say, 1 minute. 1 minute isn't a lot. We all have an extra minute. But they'll check up and go, how long's your streak? How long's this streak? And so Camille's gotten into her own streaks. She's tried different streaks and whatever. It is very satisfying to have a streak going, because you don't want to break that streak.
It's very true. You're right.
I don't know. What else do I have? I don't know. I mean, some of it is just things that work for me, time management wise. Like, I exercise in the morning, and I know that if for whatever reason I don't exercise, I am not able to exercise in the morning that day, I need to just let it go.
Same here.
Yeah.
If I don't get it done by 10 a.m., it's not happening.
Right. And I just take it off my list.
Yeah,
then.
same. Yeah. I do the same thing too, because I go, well, then I'm just not working out today.
Yeah.
Because I can't do it.
And you don't need that looming over you, knowing
exactly.
that realistically, I'm not the person who's going to, put the kids to bed and hop on the treadmill. Give me a break.
Yeah, I know.
It's not me.
Bert, when I was doing the 21-day fix, he was like, if you really want to lose weight, here's what you do. As soon as you put the kids to bed, you go to the man cave and walk on the treadmill. And I was like, no, I that is not me at all.
Not gonna happen.
As soon as the kids go to bed, I hit the couch and turn on QVC because I can nap to QVC like nobody's business. I love QVC. I feel like I don't know why. I don't really even buy that much. I have bought a few things, but I love the conversation. I don't know what it is. It's so specific and not, I don't know, it's maybe, cheesy, but for whatever reason, it makes me
I
really
wouldn't even know what
relaxed.
channel that's on.
It's 240 or 275. If you are on Direct TV, 240 is HSN, 275 is Q. It's the Q.
Wow,
that is funny.
I check there first, and I go, oh, what's for sale? And if it's jewelry, I just hard pass. But if it's like kitchen stuff or home solutions, and I don't know why, I have a problem watching Dooney and Burke bags, and I don't even like Dooney and Burke bags. I think it's
you have a
because
problem, meaning you can't stop watching?
I can't stop watching them. I'll watch that whole program of Dooney and Burke bags, and I have never bought one. I've never owned one in my whole life. But I think I remember being in college, and all the rich girls had Dooney and Burke bags, and I could never afford one. So it must be some kind of healing flashback. It's insane because I'll sit there forever and go, oh, that's a good looking bag. I mean, it's too big for my body size. I would never wear that bag, but that's a good looking bag. Very durable leather. I don't know.
This is fascinating on so many levels. It's so much more interesting than time management.
Right? I love the QVC. I love it. And I'll tell you why I think I love it. I may have said this before. My mom's a model. And in one of the phases where we weren't talking, I was flipping the channels and she was on HSN as a model. And I went, oh my God, there's my mom. So I watched the whole program with my mom. It was a makeup product she was modeling. So it was bizarre because it's a close-up on her face. And I was looking into the TV at my mom. I get a makeover, right? And the whole time going, wow, I haven't talked to her in how long? And this was before the last time we stopped talking. So I started talking to her again after this. But I wonder if subliminally, subconsciously, I'm looking for my mom. Wow. Right? Because I mean, I miss my mom.
It's fascinating.
I love my mom. I just can't have a relationship with her. And she's really pretty. So I don't know. I think that's how I started, because I'd never watched any Home Shopper, anything. But when I saw her, ever since then, I check in all the time. And I always go to HSN first. She doesn't work on QVC. HSN is in Tampa and QVC is in Philly. Do I know too much about these networks, maybe?
Wow.
But I think that's subliminally what I'm looking for, just to catch a glimpse of her. Wow. See how she's doing. See what she looks like.
Yeah, that's like your version of Facebook for your mom.
I guess, although I think my mom's on Facebook, but I don't go
look her up.
I don't. I feel like if I happen upon her, it's okay.
It's different than searching her out.
Searching her out. Yeah, energetically, it's a little different. Because I'm really not tuning in to see her. I'm tuning in to see what's for sale. And I know she's not modeling Dooney and Burke. She'd be modeling makeup. She worked for this one woman as a makeup model for years and years. I don't even know if she still works for her, because I never see her. That product doesn't come on whenever I'm watching the Q. All right.
The Q. Wow, I have learned so much today.
I know. Well, hey, you should ask Lynn about the Q, because I was like, really, seriously? The cool thing about the Q is that all the clothes and the shoes are really comfortable. Now, I did not say they were fashionable. I said they were comfortable. So, but for certain things, like they sell Birkenstocks. I love Birkenstocks. They have colors that you can't get anywhere else. I like color. Like you can't go in LA and buy hot pink Birkenstocks. Can't find them. But you can go on the Q and buy hot pink Birkenstocks, because they sell to the middle of the country for the most part. So everything has a lot of color and everything has a lot of stretch and a lot of comfort. So I have bought shoes, Vince Camuto shoes, which is a very high-end name brand shoes. They're really, really comfortable on the Q. I've never bought his shoes off the Q, but on the Q, they're really comfy shoes. So then if I see his shoes on, I go, well, I'm going to see if there's a style that I like, because I'll buy them because I know they're going to be comfortable. I did buy some Isaac Mizrahi shoes on there too. And they were also very comfortable. So I think their focus is like comfort and practicality. And there's a piece of me that's all about comfort and practicality. I don't need to wear 8-inch high heel shoes anymore, but I'd like some fashionable shoes and I hate going to the mall. I hate shopping. If I can buy it online,
too.
I will buy it online. Yeah. So the thing about shopping at QVC with stuff like that is that you can see it on a person and you can tell how big the person is, and you go, okay, she's way bigger than me, so that would not look good on me. Or Lisa Rinna also has a really great line of clothing because she's really tiny. And I'm not tiny horizontally, but I am tiny vertically. So when I look at Lisa Rinna and I see where things hit on her body, I go, oh, that would hit in the right place on my body. So now I understand that would fit me. Because like if I go online and order stuff from Old Navy, if it's not petites, it does not fit me. You probably have the same issue.
Yeah, I can't buy anything online.
Well,
really.
The Q also sells tall. They sell petite and tall and like quadruple X, which you clearly need,
yes,
Kathy.
Definitively.
Anyway, that's part of my time management. I save time. I don't go to the mall. I just go online, watch TV, and shop. I know
so you don't actually nap when you put it on.
I nap one eye open. Okay, depends. Dooney and Burke, I'm glued. And it's so funny because I don't even like those purses. I don't even like them. I go, who wears that purse?
You know. I don't even know what a Dooney and Burke purse looks like, and now I'm going to have to go look it up.
You don't?
No,
they were very big in this long.
Like they're all over Macy's, I think. Like
they're very East Coast there.
I don't go to the mall. I literally don't.
They're really East Coast. They're very East Coast. They're leather bags. They're like pebbled leather, and there's a little duck emblem on them. They're very.
I'm probably going to see this and go, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Something I would never wear. Them. I mean, I can't stop watching them. At some point, I think one's going to come up. I'm going to go, okay, there it is. That's my Dooney. That's my Dooney. Because we called them Doonies back then. Where's my Dooney? Has anyone seen my Dooney?
It's going to be your next birthday present.
No, please don't do it. I know I found one that I thought I liked, and I got really excited about it. And I showed it to Bert last year at my birthday. And I was like, I think I want this bag. And he never bought it, which was fine. And then the next time I saw it on the model, I was like, that's too big for me. She's like twice my height. That thing, I would look ridiculous. That's one of my life hacks, I guess, is that I shop online and I shop because online, if you shop online, almost everywhere has free returns. So why would you go to the mall and shop? Just order it, have it delivered, try it on, and then put it back in the bag it came in and return it. It's free. It takes so much less time. I hate going to the mall. Here's another hack that I have. If I am somewhere, I will buy a bunch of stuff for like birthday gifts that are indiscriminate, like for the kids' birthdays. You know, like when they were younger, I would just buy like 4 My Little Pony packs and just have them, because invariably you'd be invited to a birthday party on the busiest week of your life and you don't have time to go get that special specific thing. So I do hoard a lot of gifts like that. I also hoard gift cards because I think that's another really easy thing to give someone. So sometime when I'm at the grocery store, I'll just buy,
smart.
a
we used
Visa.
to have a gift not closet, but like tub that just had a bunch of gifts in it.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, same here.
But
we
not gift cards.
From
that's smart.
Well, now that they're teenagers,
that they're older,
Urban Outfitters, Justice, I just buy a couple, $40, $25, and keep them in a drawer. And it is such a lifesaver because then you just find that, oh my God, this birthday party's totally snuck up on me. Here, get a gift card. Because the kids love gift cards.
Right.
Do either of you use Instacart?
Mm-mm.
Never heard of it.
Oh my God.
I haven't tried it.
Instacart is amazing. Okay, Instacart is an online shopping app. You can choose to pay a yearly membership, or you can choose to pay a per delivery fee of $10. You also tip your driver. But this is the way I started thinking about my time, right? My time is worth more than the $10 to pay someone to go buy groceries for me. I can do more with my time, and that time that person can go to the grocery store, than $10 is worth. So for me, it's worth the $10 to pay someone to bring me the groceries that I want. Now, clearly, yes, I'd prefer to pick my own strawberries. Yes, I'd prefer to pick my own produce. But really, at the end of the day, how important is that if you're buying it from the right store? For example, I buy certain produce from Gelson's because I know you pretty much can't pick up a piece of fruit at Gelson's that's bad. Every piece of produce they have is really good. The cool thing about Instacart is they will go to Petco, Costco, Gelson's, Whole Foods, Ralph's, I think Vons, probably several other stores I don't use, so I don't really pay attention to, for one fee. They'll go to all these stores and get anything you want from those stores and bring them to your house and give them to you. And all you got to do is put them away.
What?
It is amazing. Tracy Nini told me about this, She was like, it changed my life. I don't ever go to the grocery store anymore. I just sit down, and you, on this one website, on Instacart's website, you go to all these different sites. There's no markup on the groceries. They're charging you the delivery fee. I don't know how they do it. They must get something kicked back from the grocery stores or something that they're co-oping with. I have no idea how they make money. And you think about it too, you're giving this kid who's delivering for you a job. You've just made it so that he can have a job, right? By going to get your groceries for you. That has been amazing. I do Instacart almost every week. I love it. Huh, that's one of my life hacks. That's
interesting.
Saves me time.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes I just need to go to the grocery store because I just need that like decompression downtime. And sometimes I need to go to the grocery store for two things. And then it doesn't make sense. And I live 1 block from the grocery store. But on days where I just can't get it done,
sure, it's
amazing. That's a great time management. I started looking at my time in that way in general. Like
yes, what can you throw money at that is reasonable?
Exactly. Right. That is reasonable. Now, I know not everybody can do that. There are people who can't do $10 extra on their groceries. And that is something that I am humbly privileged to be able to do. And I understand some people just can't do that. But at the same time, if you're going to Ralph's anyway, and you can find that extra $10, what does that hour give you with your family? What does that hour give you for homework? So even if you are in a compromised financial situation, can you figure out a way to just find that $10 extra to gain that extra hour or so with your kids that it would take to go to the grocery store? I don't know. So kind of, I guess, weighing what you can do, but that's just an amazing service. Another thing I use, we obviously are big Blue Apron fans. And I know when you have small kids, it's probably harder because Blue Apron is kind of adult meals. But I can't tell you how much time that saves me. Just 2 meals a week, I don't have to figure out. I just go to the grocery store, pull out the ingredients, and cook it. Follow the directions. It's so easy for me because I hate planning what to eat.
Oh my God,
if someone could just give me Blue Apron 7 days a week, I would be so happy. Because then I just don't have to think about it. That's the part I hate.
For food planning, meal planning, one thing that we've started very recently, so it's so recent that I can't tell you if it's working for us. It has worked for us in the weeks that we've done it, is involving the whole family in our meal planning talk, which is new to us. Normally, if we even got around to meal planning, it's Richard and I having a conversation like, okay, I'm working late this night. It's you and the girls on your own. So, blah, blah, blah. We talk that out. But for the past couple of weeks, we've been having it with the whole family and saying, guys, I need some suggestions here because I'm so bored by our usual routine, our usual menu. We're all bored by it. So what would you like to eat? Okay, well, this makes sense on this day because it's a little bit more time consuming, so we can't do it on a gymnastics day, for example. Or, I liked that, chicken that you did. Oh, that's easy because that's something that's like pre-marinated at Trader Joe's. So I can pick that up, throw it in with some potatoes in the crock pot, and
you're done.
We can do that on a Girl Scouts day or whatever. It'll just be waiting for us. That's been a game changer because the girls will remember meals that I go, oh, that's right. I used to make that. Sure, I can do that. Okay, okay. That's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I should start doing that too. On the weeks when I can get my act together and plan the week of meals, is so much easier.
So much better, isn't it?
It makes
when
everything
I sit down and
better.
Have everything.
Where what you're cooking every night, like Blue Apron, where I go, well, I know I'm cooking this tonight. Tonight I'm cooking turkey burger. Well, tonight I'm not, but tomorrow night I'm cooking turkey burgers with lemongrass from Blue Apron, and I know that's what we're having. But it is easier when you sit down and you get your week plan. But that's a good idea because Isla is getting very picky again. You know how you ebb and flow out of picky children? She is now boycotting all vegetables. And I'm like, really? Come on, help a mom out here.
Yeah.
Help a mom out.
Yeah.
Eat something. She's not eating anything. She's now decided she will never eat a sandwich again unless it's peanut butter. I'm like, oh my God.
That's what we did for a little while, and we stopped, I think, because of school or whatever, is I didn't meal plan with the kids, but I had the kids each pick one meal a week that they wanted, and then they helped prep that meal.
That's
That's
great.
And it was great. They were super excited about it. They were learning to like cook that meal, and then they were super excited to eat it, and they were more flexible if their siblings chose something that they may not want or whatever.
Interesting.
And they would come up with stuff that I was not going to regularly cook, you know.
Yeah.
But then I think school started.
Yeah, we did that,
And
a few times, and it
really
was
work.
wonderful.
It's
Yeah,
great,
it's wonderful when it works, but the school and
Yeah.
homework and the classes and the lessons and
Right.
It's just a lot.
exhausted.
It's a lot to do.
Yeah.
Time hack. Have my dog food delivered. Chewy.com. It's like $4 a bag more. That's again one of those times where I go, it's worth $4 for me not have to ever think about dog food. It shows
Well,
up
especially
every month.
because I'm sure with Priscilla's
gonna
size,
say.
my God, how would you even haul a bag
It's a
of that
50-pound bag.
around? Jeez.
Right. It's a 50-pound bag. I get a 50-pound bag of dog food every month.
I buy
Wow.
a 4-pound bag of dog food every 2 months.
Yeah, but your dog weighs the same amount as her paw.
Pretty much. So, yeah,
I do
we
that with
don't
chicken
that,
feed.
but
It's just delivered, and I don't
makes
have to
sense.
think about it. And then,
Yeah.
if you can take it off your bandwidth, it's so much better. I do it with cat litter, cat food, wet
but
cat
do you
food.
do that with like Amazon and like toilet paper and paper towels and all that stuff?
No, I do that. She just heard you. Amazon just woke up.
sorry. I didn't order anything. Alexa,
Paper
cancel.
towels on your shopping
Right.
list. No, I do go to Costco and load up on that. I have not used Instacart for Costco because I really like going to Costco. That's one of my escape. You know, I'm going to get
Well,
out
it's
of
good to
Dodge
see
for
what
a
they
few
have
minutes.
because
They
things
have
change there.
everything. Yeah.
They have
Yeah.
everything.
And then you don't really realize what you need when you walk in there.
Absolutely.
Need.
Yeah, need is a.
You guys, I went to
relative.
Costco last week and I got out of there for under $100. And
Shut
I was
up.
like, yeah. And I
How's
went,
that possible?
wow, has this ever been done before? And everyone in line was laughing and they're like, oh my God, I hear you. I've never been out of here for under $100.
No.
No.
What did you buy? Like one box of granola bars?
No, I bought a bunch of stuff, but it was just, I guess
Eggs.
it was just smaller stuff. I don't even remember what I needed, but wow, that's unprecedented.
That's insane. I was just talking to Kathy about this earlier. I was using WAG for a while to walk the dogs from time to time because I like walking the dogs.
Yeah.
But sometimes like today, I don't have time to walk the dogs all day. And I didn't yesterday either. And I feel really bad because Priscilla actually needs to be walked because of her bad knee. She needs to maintain a certain musculature. But the thing I didn't like about WAG was that I got a different person every time. And with Priscilla, I mean, with someone else's dog, it may be different. But with her, she has such specific legs and she's so large that I feel like I have to kind of prep whoever's walking her.
Sure.
So then I feel like I have to, A, be home and B, really spend a few minutes going, all right, here's what needs to happen. And I don't want to do that. So I need to replace that, or I need to really set up WAG in a systematic way so that I can have the same person every day. But that was something that was really helpful because I'd feel so guilty not walking the dog, because if you have a dog, you have a responsibility to that dog. It's not her fault I have a busy day.
Yeah.
She looks forward to that walk. That's like her one thing. And when I can't give it to her, I feel so bad.
Yeah.
So that's something I need to figure out because, and something that I figured out yesterday or Tuesday, I pick up, I pick up 3 kids that are not mine because they have younger siblings at the elementary school. So I pick up the older siblings at middle school and disperse them, right? And I was like, why don't we just do this every day? Why do all 5 of these parents show up at the same school and drive within 4 houses of each other every day.
Right. Why is there not a carpool?
Why aren't we carpooling this short distance? Maybe because it's so short, we don't feel the carpool is justified. But I mean, I would love to not have to go and park and sit in my car for 30 minutes a day. That's another time management
3 days
thing.
a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I'd be like, stupid. Yeah. Why didn't you think of that 2 years ago when Georgia started this school, or 3 years ago? Because I would be happy to pick up all 5 of those kids 2 days a week, and then have another parent pick up.
And then have 3 days where you don't have to go at all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But with the
What's
caveat.
What's the caveat?
And Kathy, you told me this when we started in middle school and realized, we'll probably carpool, that there's no free lunch with a carpool. It seems like a great idea, and it's great when it's working. And then somebody's kid is sick, and there's a whole bunch of texts going around about how to cover for. I mean, this is a short distance that you're talking about, so I guess it's not a big deal that if you could, I guess it would work in that circumstance. But I am finding that having a carpool is almost not worth it.
Well, it just depends on who's in your carpool
super
group.
challenging.
Right.
Yes, or it can be.
Because I know Sandy and Jeannie and Rebecca had a carpool group that was great. They didn't have no complaints. I mean, clearly things happen. People get sick. That's just to be expected.
Yeah.
But the day-to-day, they were all happy. And that's what you want. But it depends. It's contingent upon the drivers, who they are. Do you guys have any life hacks like what I was talking about? Any like little services you use or shortcuts you take?
Well, a shortcut I take is every Thursday. We know that it's just a really long time spent at gymnastics. We're not home until 7 o'clock or whatever. So it's Chipotle night. It's always Chipotle night. We love Chipotle, and that is Chipotle night. It's super simple life hack, but it's just, for a while it was like, okay, well, sometimes we're going to do this. Sometimes I'll put something in the crock pot and whatever. And then we were like, you know what? Everybody looks forward to Chipotle night. So it's Chipotle night.
Yeah. Friday night's pizza night at my house.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, Friday night's pizza night. It just is. That way you know you're having pizza. So don't ask for it the rest of the week. It's coming on Friday night, because Isla would eat pizza 3 meals a day, 7 days a week. Do you have anything like that, Kathy?
I don't know. I don't really think so. I'm trying to think if we have any life hacks, but I don't know. I guess we're just trudging through.
So where in your life do you feel like you need more time management and don't have it? Where?
I don't know if it's time management. I feel like I set myself up for failure in that thinking I can get more done than I really can in a given day. So I set the bar so high that I just constantly feel like I'm behind. And that's
100%,
not a great place to be.
100%. I hear you. That's me.
You set yourself up for failure, like you said.
Yeah.
Instead of lowering your expectations, which is what you're saying,
right,
putting less on your list. Do you guys have a running to-do list?
Yeah.
Yes, so do I.
I have a running to-do list, and then when I find that it's too overwhelming, I'll sit down the night before and make a to-do list just for tomorrow so that I can accomplish some of the things on the running to-do list.
Right.
The power hour may be helpful in getting some of that stupid shit off my list.
The power hour is a great idea.
It is a great idea.
Do you have a running to-do list, Kirsten?
I do. I was going to say another thing that they mentioned on that podcast was to do a ta-da list.
A ta-da list?
Which is when you take, because I feel overwhelmed by my list. I think I just set unrealistic expectations and don't realize that it just takes a freaking long time. Like, just sometimes a simple phone call that should be 2 minutes is going to be a 30-minute phone call because you get put on hold and because they have to for whatever reasons. Like, things just take a lot more time, and then it derails your whole day, and I have trouble recovering from that. But what they suggest to do is to also have a running to-do list where you then add all of the things, or you can cut and paste from your list and put them on, because it does help you reframe to look at that and go, holy shit, I did all of these things in a day. That is unbelievable. Instead of looking at the still to do things on your to-do list and going, fuck, I didn't get around to all of these things. It can just help you reframe by looking at that and going, wow, I was really killing it today.
That's funny, actually, because I feel like there are certain days this week that I was like, wow, you did so much. And like you erase the things off your to-do list or
so you don't even remember.
But then your list is still super long. So you're like, oh, I really didn't do much.
It's very
you're like,
feeling.
I did.
No, you know what I do? I have a notebook. I have three notebooks. I have Bert notebook. I have a wife of the party notebook, and I have a house notebook, like everything else, a catch-all. I write my list and I mark them off as I go, and I leave them there until there's more marked off than there are left. And then I rewrite the list. So that way I can see, I've done all these things today or in the past couple days. And then once I've got more than half of it done, I make a whole new list, and it's shorter. So then I go, wow, okay, I've really cut that list down. But that's my ta-da. I guess instead of rewriting it, I just mark through it.
Sure. So you can still see.
I can still see. Look at all the things I marked through today. I actually did accomplish a lot. It's so relieving when you get some of that stuff off your list. That power hour, I'm going to totally do that. That's a great idea. I had a power day a couple of weeks ago. Sylvia is the lady that helps me clean on Thursdays. She comes and changes all the sheets and does all that stuff. And one Thursday I went, I am just going to work with Sylvia all day. I didn't disrupt Sylvia at all. She still did her same day, but I was Sylvia too. So I would just went through my whole house and changed light bulbs and fixed things that were broken and put things away I just couldn't seem to get put away. And I felt so relieved at the end of that day. It was really worth it that day. Do you have any places where you think you need to implement more time management?
I relate so much to what Kathy said. I feel like I got a system going. It's good. But I think sometimes the system would be better if I just said no to more things. Because there's a system in place, and there's theoretically time for maybe not everything, but most of the things or many of the things on the list. But then it's like, well, could you just help out we just need you for a half hour volunteering in the classroom, which turns into an hour, or which turns into whatever the thing is. That's a bad example because I have not been in the classroom once this year.
No, but I know what you mean. I get asked all the time at middle school, and I say no so often now because I go, I look at my calendar, and if I really can't, if it will really mess up my day, I say no. And with working out, since I started the 21-day fix, I try to be finished with working out and walking the dogs by 9. So I don't always make it. Sometimes I'm 9:30. But if someone says, hey, can you come right after drop off? The answer is no. Because I have an appointment with myself to take care of the dog and working out. Yeah. And so if it's not 10 o'clock or later, it's a yes, if I can do it, if it works in my schedule. But it's an emphatic no, unless it's something super special before 9 o'clock. No. It's a no. And I think once you get it in your head, like organizing my days of the week where I knew that I scheduled my hair, my dentist, anything, if I wanted to get my nails done, which happens twice a year, I always just did it on Thursday. And if it didn't happen on Thursday, it didn't happen unless there was some special circumstance. I think that...
Yeah, I can see how that would be very helpful to that.
To
it's
just
so
be
if,
a
even
boundary.
If a volunteer opportunity came up that wasn't before 9 or 9:30, but if a volunteer opportunity came up, it's like, okay, well, if it comes up on a Thursday or whatever the day is, I will do it. But if it comes up any other day of the week, I am out.
I just can't do it. Right.
It's a boundary for yourself, right?
Yeah.
A way of self-regulating.
Yeah.
Saying
it's hard to say no, though.
It is.
Sometimes. I mean,
it is hard
to say no. It really shouldn't be, but sometimes it feels hard to say no.
Well, and depending on what your identity is, if you are a helper and, we're all people who've really helped out a lot at school.
Yeah.
That can be hard to say no in that circumstance or whatever the other circumstance that is tied to your identity.
Right. That really bad field trip that I chaperoned helped me with that a lot. I chaperoned that camping field trip overnight, 2 nights, and I had a very bad experience. And after that, I went, you know what? I don't really need to do that. Why do I need to do that? I don't really need to. My kids are up and running. They're secure. They're fine. They have no problem on these field trips without me. What is my motivation? Do I need to feel needed? Am I hovering over my kids? What is my motivation for being involved in this? Because all I got that weekend was a crock of crap at night. And I came home going, what is my motivation for volunteering like this? I don't really need to be involved in this way. My kids don't need me to be involved in this way. My kids are not the kids that need to be chaperoning. These kids that were behaving so badly, their parents are the ones that should have been chaperoning, which is probably why they're behaving so badly, because their parents aren't involved. But that shifted my paradigm a little bit with volunteering, where I went, what is my motivation for volunteering? Yes, I'm a helpful person. I am so helpful. We also, because we are fortunate, we can donate money also to the school. We do that. We donate to the silent auction. I donate my time in a reasonable way, where I go, I can give you an hour. I can't give you my soul, like it's what we did when we did the fair. Kathy and I, and you worked for silent auction in the fair. Yeah. It was so much of your time, and I come away from that. As you come away from it, going, what is my motivation? I think that had a place for me. I made so many friends doing that, and I got to know our whole neighborhood by being so involved in the fair, and that I don't regret 1 second of it. It was amazing, but I don't feel I need to do that at middle school. And middle school has a comparable festival. It's not the same in size, but it's the same theory of let's put on a festival and raise money. And I just don't have that motivation, where I go, I don't need to be that important. And I didn't need to be important at Colfax, but something has shifted. Does that make sense?
100%.
Where I just go, I don't need to do that
what
anymore.
You're talking about, like your identity has changed a little bit. Like as your kids have grown or whatever, like I felt very committed to doing that. I don't feel that way now.
Yeah.
Still love the school, like want them, like happy to help in so many ways, but I don't need that anymore. I don't know that I needed it then, but I certainly wanted to do it.
Yeah, me too.
Or I wouldn't have done it. You know, like I wanted to be a part of it, and I wanted to be a part of it that significantly. I don't want to do that anymore.
Right. Same here.
For no ill reason, just it's over.
Yeah.
It's, it
served its purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
I made so many friends doing that. So many. I mean, Kathy and I became really close doing the fair and Girl Scouts together. And not to be schmoopy, but you are one of the best people I know and one of my closest friends. So we wouldn't have gotten close, I don't think, necessarily. And not in the same way.
Right.
If we hadn't,
without all that time.
Without all that time spent together and problem solving and drama and there's a drunk woman on the stage with one lens in her eye and her sunglasses. Somebody call security.
Why is her bicycle on stage?
She has a bicycle. She's dancing. And this is an elementary school festival.
What is happening?
There's a homeless drunk woman at the stage. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
No. Oh my God.
You don't remember that?
No.
I just caught a woman shoving tickets up her sleeve. Somebody get her. Oh my God. She's mentally impaired. I feel terrible. Remember that?
Yeah. Oh yes.
You weren't privy to any of that, were you?
No.
Good times. No. All right. What have we learned today about time management? Power Hour. Awesome.
Power Hour is a great plan. I really like that.
What's your takeaway? Anything else?
I think my takeaway may be to try the system where like each day is something and to like really see if that actually works.
That's what I was thinking
or not.
Too. Want to try that again.
Instead of trying to do everything every day. You know what I mean?
I think that's...
Set aside stuff. Again, it's that boundary thing.
Yeah.
I'm only going to the supermarket, to Costco, to Target, to like whatever on Mondays.
Right.
You need shampoo on Friday? Gotta wait.
Yeah, it is a boundary thing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm going to go back to that
because
too.
I do feel like sometimes that happens. Like I'll go to CVS, I walk home and my husband's like, oh, did you buy this? I'm like, well, why didn't you tell me that before?
Right.
I was just there. So why am I going back the next day? So
yes. I know my dog groomer's here. I'm going to tell her I'm finishing up.
I think that's a really good idea that I wonder if I can actually implement.
Yeah, I want to try that too.
Part 2, we'll see if that works or not.
Stay tuned.
I know.
Yeah, that's right.
What about the emailing at a certain time of day? How do you feel about that?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't feel like I get so many emails anymore that have to be dealt with right away.
I do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
have a
I like
business
dealing
where that
with them.
where I have to deal with that. So
I like dealing with them ASAP, but also I'm also coming at it from, I have a boss who that is her main form of communication with me. And, she will email me a separate email about every item just so that it's, at first it felt like too much. But I realized that it's a really good system because it's kind of like in Girl Scouts. Instead of sending out one email saying, here's the form for this thing, and then here's also the form for this thing, it just, there would be information lost in that. So it's like you just deal with everything separately.
see, that's so interesting because you and I have talked about this a lot, particularly with the fair, about the type of people who read emails. Like, are you the kind of person who will sit down and read everything? So everything, it could be 9 things in one email and you're going to go through everything. Or you're the person who opens it and like briefly skims the top and you're like, whatever.
Yeah.
And
Well, see, I'm the type of person who reads the whole damn thing,
Right.
but I realize that most people are not that type of person.
Right.
They just, from being a room parent, I realized that.
Get the first, and they get the first or the gist of it, and then they forget the details.
Yeah.
I know. I think about that with Girl Scouts too. I'm like, do I want to send 6 emails? I need this permission slip. Please return it to me now. Send. We are meeting at the food pantry this week. Please drop your kids off at 4:30. Send. You know,
or is it
camping
just
trip has been
better
postponed until this date? Send. Like, do people want 6 emails or do they want one email with 6 items in it? I don't know. It's different
really
for
hard
different people.
it's hard to know which is more effective.
And probably nothing is one size fits all. So probably some people want everything and some people want them separately. But I think that with having separate emails, it's more searchable. So if you search the title or if you, search, permission form, then up pops the one that I need in that moment.
That's true.
It would drive me crazy to have 6 of them, but that does make sense.
Yeah.
But
I know Bert's manager does that. One topic per email, so you can search it and find it.
Makes sense.
It does make sense.
It made me crazy with my boss in the beginning. I just thought, oh my God, I can't get 15 emails from her a day.
Right.
It's crazy. But now that I've realized that it's so searchable and that it is in that same, the 4-hour work week way where you just open them all up and then
deal with them.
Deal with that one, deal with that one, deal with that. Close, and then done.
So why don't we do this? Why don't we take a couple weeks and try this format of compartmentalizing your week and come back and maybe during a different podcast, or it's not a whole podcast about it, but discuss how did it work, what worked, what didn't work. Sure. Maybe we'll try the power hour, try reorganizing your week so that everything's compartmentalized. And I'm going to try having the kids involved in my planning of meals. Planning. And then we'll reconvene and see how they worked.
Sure.
Does that sound good?
Sounds
You guys want to do that?
Let's do it when we talk about the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do it when we talk about that. That's a great idea.
Habits.
So by the time we read the book, which is called what again?
Better Than Before by Gretchen Rubin.
Better Than Before by Gretchen Rubin.
Write that down.
Okay. I'll put it on my website too at wifeotp.com. Thank you guys. I think it was a good talk.
Thanks. Yeah.
I
don't feel as disorganized when I walked in here. I was like, time management, I can't talk about that.
Oh, there's no way you can get as much done as you get done without time management, Kathy.
Yeah, I guess.
All right. Well, until next time. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.